Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, looking at part 2 of my Beginner's Guide series. And what we're going to be looking at here is formulating a plan at the very beginning of a battle. First thing I do is I hit tab, and I look at the list of players on the enemy team, because I want to know how many players I'm up against. If you're ever confused as to whether or not a player is a bot or a player, then you want to start right-clicking on their names while holding down the tab button. This will allow you to determine if it's a player or not. Bots cannot be invited to groups, so as you go through and right-click, you'll find that if it's a player, it'll give you an options drop-down menu. That gives you a key indication. Also, bots will not have any numbers in their names or any other special characters, so if you see any of those, then you will also be able to identify a player quite easily. Next thing we did is we looked at the different objectives that were available in the battle. In this case, the objectives available in the battle were going to be the rocket base in the center of the battlefield, as well as 4 garrisons. The very first thing we do at the beginning of every battle is try to get to our optimum altitude, which is around 7,000 feet in this aircraft, and this allows us to be able to store up our energy state. We used a bit of our boost to do this, but now we're just going to sit here, let our boost regen, and we're sitting at a comfortable altitude, and if we need to get away from an engagement, we always have the option to dive. If you're on the ground, you no longer have that option. This isn't always the case when it comes to GAs. GAs are going to always fly close to the ground, so it's not always going to be a hard, fast truth. Now here I'm going after some of the bot heavies because we want to capture this zone. In order to capture a zone, you have to do one of 2 things. One, you have to destroy aircraft in the zone, whether that be the NPC defenders or that be actual players. The other way to capture a zone is to destroy ground sites. You have to destroy a ground site in its entirety if you're going to attempt to do this though. You'll note that each one of the ground sites has a series of icons around it. For instance, an air defense site, being a AAA piece or a long-range artillery piece, will have the gun itself and then 3 accompanying buildings along with it. You have to destroy all 4 in order to get credit for destroying them. There are also tents facilities, as well as garrison facilities and other mixes. If you don't destroy every structure inside of there and the enemy comes in and steals the last structure with an easy rocket, then they will be able to capture that entire zone. Here we're diving down now that there were no targets at altitude, and we're going to start focusing against this player aircraft. Now I know he's about to drop 2 1,000-pound bombs on that facility right there, because I know that that's what that aircraft can carry. So I decide to keep my distance until he does just that. He is doing what I would not suggest, which is attacking ground targets with guns. There's only a few instances when this is a viable option for anything except for a ground attacker. Every other aircraft is going to optimize their strength, which is going to be either destroying ground targets with air-to-ground ordnance or attacking an aircraft with your guns and taking it out. You can see we gained some capture points as a result of killing that one aircraft. Now we're going to focus the low health GA that's over here, GA meaning ground attacker, in order to get us some easy capture points and prevent them from being able to get any more of that facility. It's usually best to attack ground attackers from the side. By attacking from the side, you limit the amount of exposure you have to their tail gunners. Because in that exact statement, you'll note tail gunners. So if you're on their tail, that's where they're going to be shooting from. I am wary while attacking this ground attacker that he most likely is going to drop a bomb, so I am trying to maintain altitude. The higher you are, the less likely that those bombs will be able to have the splash to kill you. I know that that aircraft only has 500-pound bombs, so the blast radius is not going to be nearly as substantial as the Fab 250s that can be carried by the Russian ground attackers. The IL-10 has a tail gunner. That can be a dangerous piece of machinery right there, so I am going to go into the vertical, get some separation rather than trying to stay behind a rather slow and unmaneuverable GA, and then we'll drop back down on him. You'll note we were able to capture this zone quite easily by destroying aircraft. Luckily, usually the center zone is fed by a lot of the NPC or bot fighter aircraft. I prioritize going after that tail chase aircraft rather than going after the first one, Even though I would like to aid my ally, I would prefer to keep that aircraft from being able to get on my tail, and then I prioritize the aircraft that's trying to kill my ally. We overshoot him a little bit, so we'll double back. The whole goal at this point is to defend that capture zone. As a fighter aircraft, I know that my role is to kill aircraft. I need to stay in an area and maintain it. Usually with a fighter aircraft, you're going to go after the more strategic objectives. You're going to take it by killing aircraft to the best of your ability, and then you're going to hold it. This isn't always the case. Sometimes you're in a multi-role fighter or a heavy or a ground attacker, and then those roles will change. A lot of times the game will also give you a hint. If you hold down the tab button and you put your cursor over some of the icons on the map, it will give you a description as to what aircraft are supposed to go after it, usually in the loading screen when you can see the overview of the battlefield. By playing to the objective, we were able to get rank 1 on the team, and that's how you were able to get those points towards achieving a rank particular to your airframe. Now let's take a look at the post-game stats and see how we did when we look at those 3 rings that indicate how well we were performing our particular role. As you can see here, we managed to capture 3 sites. We killed 10 aircraft, which is one of the things we're supposed to do, as well as gaining 260 capture points. This is exactly what this aircraft is supposed to do, and the game rewarded us for it. It's important to play to that role in order to get the maximum point score. In addition to that, by playing to your role, oftentimes you'll find that you're going to have the highest chance of success in being able to win the battle. Playing to the objective is always advisable. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll keep turning them out, and I'll probably get into aircraft specific ones at a later date. If you like the video, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.